Hello and welcome to my watch reviews, and this is the second watch in a series of 3 reviews I'm trying to put out one after the other. The first one was the Aventurine dial, which you can see here. Second one of course is this one, and the third one is the one that you can see now, which is a completely own design San Martin. So before we crack on with this one, it's called the SN067-G, and my confession is I've had this probably over a year. San Martin sent it me a long time ago, and I've loved this watch. I've worn it a lot. I really enjoy it. It's one of my favourite designs actually. Just never got round to doing the review, and I looked the other day and it seemed to be almost in the clearance. I think it was about £135. I'll come back to the price a little bit later in the video. So I figured at that sort of money for this sort of quality, I've got to do a video. So stick around as usual. We're going to test the movement, we're going to look at it under the microscope, and we're going to look close up at all the case finishing and the goodies it has to offer. Okay, we get a first glimpse of the watch now out in the open air, where it's going to hide absolutely no prisoners whatsoever, and this watch is going to scream Doxa to you. I can't decide if it's homaging one or maybe more, but it's certainly definitely got that flavour. But it's also got a flavour of the 70s with the case shape and the bracelet they've used and things like that, sort of reminiscent of a lot of my 70s Seiko collection. Maybe that's why I'm liking this watch so much. So this model comes with 5 different colourways. There is that really light baby blue colour, not really struck on that one. There's a very burnt orange colour, again Doxa all over that one. Silver dial, the black dial I'm reviewing, and another black dial with slightly different indices with sort of a red border to them. So you've definitely got a lot of choice. The dial on this one has got a radial finish, so it does catch the light quite well, and you've just got printed indices and a minute track there. The indices are basically white paint on the dial, and then they put the yellow loom on the top of that. I actually quite like the elongated minute markers. It gives it a little bit more of a design feature. The San Martin logo is printed on. I know that is very subjective. I'm the one, or one of those ones, who actually like it, but I know a lot of you don't. And then you can see at the bottom there it's an automatic. It's 200 meters of water resistance. Surprise, surprise. Screw down crown, screw down case back. That's how they get in that. So you've got quite an interesting handset. I love the orange minute hand. I mean, that is completely borrowed by Doxa, but if you're going for that look, why not? And it does stand out. It looks great. The second hand, you've got a little hexagon, which is loom filled as well, going around. So I'm quite pleased with the dial, but let's get a little bit closer and stick it on the microscope. Okay, here is the dial, and as a black dial it will show up every speck of dust, and there'll be dust that's already fallen onto it just from me removing the watch from the case just a little bit there, for instance. And I've mistakenly left the rotor on, so it's a bit wobbly in this occasion. So we're looking at a printed dial, so we want to look at that print, see how well it's been done. I'm just moving around here to 5-6 o'clock. Looks okay to me. What I didn't realise really is it's got this sort of, the dial, it's got a starburst black finish on it. As you can see, how it's reflecting or refracting the light there. I like that a lot, and funny enough, I never noticed that before until now. And again, look, another speck of dust. Handset, really like it. Slightly jagged edge to the minute hand there. I think I'll just get a little bit closer with the microscope to have a better look at that. The logo, always subjective on this one, of course, it is printed. Right, let's just get a bit closer. Okay, we're looking at the logo really close up now, and if you look at the top of the A, it looks like there's a hair or something there. But my Rodico will not remove it, so that's floated in and got stuck in the paint, I think. Now, would you see that with the naked eye? I don't know. Now I've seen it, it's annoying. But we are, again, very close magnification. But yeah, that's a slight failure. Let's see if they can redeem themselves with the close-up on everything else. Now we're going to certainly see some slight imperfections, like the loom there. It's just not quite filled that hole, but honestly we're at, I don't know how much power we're at on the microscope, but we're blooming close, put it that way. So we're looking for anything really deliberate that would stick out. We'll come back to that hand in just a moment as we go around the dial. That looks fine to me. Right, hands. So let's try and focus in. So the faux loom, as you can see, is like a yellow. That's done very well. You know, loom isn't always easy. I've done videos, well, I've loomed lots of watches myself and made videos of it, and it's as a hobbyist, it's not always easy. So now we're just looking at that edge of that hand, and yeah, it is a little bit rough. I think it looked rougher further out than it does close up, to be quite frank with you. So maybe it was also the light playing into it. Again, as I keep saying though, even under these magnifications, when it's back in the case and on your wrist, and if you're a 52-year-old man like I am, I can't see that sort of stuff with my eyes at this age anyway, so you know, there we go. I'll be just clutching at straws. Hope you enjoyed the microscope parts of my reviews. If you do, leave your comment. Let me know below that you like this and you want it included in all or most of the reviews that I can do. Here's the loom degradation test, and it's over 15 minutes. You can see this model glows green. I think some of the others actually glow blue. I don't expect much because it's just painted onto the dial rather than filled in the C, but you can see it's fading quite nicely and then it just sort of hangs there, so it does work. It's not super special, but it's good enough. Okay, let's go for a quick tour around the watch. So we'll start with the bezel. I'll show you the action when it's in hand. It is quite thin. It's got a taper to it on the top, and then it's got a sort of chamfer around the edge as well. Lots and lots of grip on it. It feels quite light. I mean, it's a nice firm click, but it feels quite light. I like that actually. Prefer that to the big chunky ones sometimes you find on divers. The numbers and the markers on the bezel are embossed into it and filled with the orange paint that you can see there. The case shape is really interesting, as I said before. Very angular, a combination of brushed and high polished chamfer around the edges. You've got quite interesting lug drop-offs, for want of a better word, on the sides of the case. Case and the watch sits quite big on your wrist because of a result of that, but I do like that angular feeling about it. It's filled nicely with that whopping great big crown that you can see at 4. Like that a lot. Screw down, but it's really easy to use and tell the time, and I just like the design really of the big crown. Bracelets, well, they're all kind of block links. They're squared off. There isn't a sharp edge on them, but they're all brushed very well. And yes, again, it just suits the style of the watch. So let's turn it over and have a quick look at the case back end. Well, what a surprise. As with every single San Martin except for one very early on, it is a complete and utter sterile case back. Surprise. And here's the watch in the hand, and I really do like this one. The style, yeah, is a little bit borrowed from Doxa. I can't quite decide if it's 2 models built into one or where it's coming from, but I just like the chunkiness. I like the square links of that bracelet. They're all brushed on the sides, as you can see there. Again, nice and tight. That end link is in as tight as, well, I'm not going to say an expletive, but yes, it's very tight. Bezel, 120 click. Quite nice action on this one. Gone straight past the top. I do like the case shape as well. I like these cut off sides there. It's sort of very reminiscent of the 70s watches that I have in abundance in my collection. This beautiful big crown down here at 4. It's a screw down crown. Unscrew it, no bother at all. Plenty of grip, and obviously we can move it like so. But yeah, it looks good. Down at the bottom, you've just got the normal clasp on this one. Obviously, I've had this watch, I think, maybe nearly a year. So a bit bad of me really not to review it a lot quicker than that. So you just got the normal shell clasp. You may have the on the fly adjustment if you were to buy one of those today, but I couldn't say that for certain. But there you go, that's what it looks like, just under artificial light in the hand where you can see it moving about. There we go. Okay, let's size it up. So your diameter, you can see, is about 40 millimeters, 12 millimeters thick. The lug to lug, well, you can see the bracelet sticks out a little bit, and that's where I'm going to measure it from. 52, so it is quite large there, but you'll see on the wrist shot how it looks. The bracelet itself, well, I think the lug is 20 mil, yeah, and this is going to taper down, I think, to 16. Yeah, there we go. Right, let's also just see if it is genuine sapphire while we're at it. There we go, 100% there. So you get what you pay for, and you're getting the right thing on this watch. Time for the wrist roll, and here it is on my 7-inch 18cm wrist. I don't think it looks too big at all, despite that lug to lug. The taper does shape it well, but it's not about me, it's about you. What do you think? Do you like this style of watch? Leave the comments below. I'm dying to hear what you've got to say. Okay, it's time grapper time, and the movement, as I said, was the YN55 Epson. So I think it's 52 degrees on the lift angle, but let's see what we're going to get. Okay, so that's quite an interesting trace to quickly discuss with you. So, well, the rate is absolutely spot on. Beat error, well, is too much, to be honest with you. Those lines should be closer together. Amplitude is pretty good, but we're getting a bad trace on one. Now, this won't really mean too much. I wouldn't take too much into it from a movement out the packet, especially a budget movement like this. But that could mean there's a little bit of debris. It's now doing it on the top one. This will be something to do with the pallet as a rule. There could be a little bit of dirt down there. It could be just a bit of noise even. So further investigation would be required from my point of view to try and get those lines straight. But if you bought this, because this watch, as I'll release the price at the end of the video, I think, is a pretty low price for this one, I don't think you can complain too much. And yours, if you bought this, I guess would have a better trace than that one. I'm just going to quickly put it in, crown up, and again, even straight away we can still see it's doing the same thing, but it's not going off up or down in massive differences in rate, which would be alarming. Then it would tell you there's something seriously wrong with the movement. Also, it doesn't help that you have the bracelet on. Sometimes having bracelets on is not good on a time grapher. And again, here we are now at what are we, crown down, and the lines are tightening up a little bit, but it's still quite noisy. So yes, let's put the movement under the microscope, and I'll show you what it looks like and just see if we can spot anything obvious. Under the microscope with the YN55A Seiko Epson movement, and it's a little bit more plainer looking, less finishing, but it's still a mechanical movement. You can see, I don't know, for instance, the ratchet wheel here has got cutouts in it. Is that money saving? It's certainly not decorative. The plates are just plain plated, but you know, it's a functional movement. It's got jewels, it's got all the, you know, the power reserve and everything else that you would want. What's quite interesting, don't know whether you can see this, you have a case gasket here, and there's also another gasket here. I've never seen a double gasket before, so it's quite interesting to see. I don't know whether that is serving a purpose to seal, or whether it's just to prop up the movement ring to get tight on the case back, which it could be to sort of push the movement in and keep the whole thing still in the watch so it doesn't rattle around. But yes, so looking at the balance, well, you've got a very Seiko type of 3-star clip there, the spring for the jewel. I'm just going to quickly zoom down on the balance. Unfortunately, we can't see the pallet fork unless I strip half the watch apart to see what was causing that trace issue. So there we go, we are quite close, and I can't see anything obvious, to be honest with you. Hairspring is beating really, really nicely. The pallet fork will be just down there, but there's not enough gap to see. And that would be another video really to investigate why I'm getting a slight bad trace. And finally the price, it is $169.50 or about £139. I think you can probably get it better than that through coupons and bits and bobs that you can add on. I mean, look there, it says US $2 off of orders over $19. Well, you're going to get $2 there. So yes, you can whittle that down. You will pay tax usually at checkout. Your VAT, whatever it is, you won't pay any shipping. This sale is going to end 24 hours. It is the 6th of the 6th. So this time tomorrow night, the sale will be all over. But don't worry, there'll be another sale coming along. I think that's a good price for this watch. You let me know, of course, in the comments. This review is about you guys. Do you like this one? That's the question. So just to conclude the watch, right, well, you know, would I buy it? Yes, in a heartbeat. I really do like this watch. It's one of my favourite St. Martins, as it happens. I just like the shape, the colour, this dial configuration. I don't like the blue one they do, or the other colour. I think it was silver, wasn't it? But the black one to me is definitely the one to have. I can forgive the movement because the sale price is so unbelievably low. So what is not to like for that sort of money? You ain't going to find another watch of this sort of build quality for that money. I don't care what you say. So yes, I'd buy it. Is there any negatives? Well, I suppose the design, it's going to be subjective. Not everybody's going to like that. Not everybody's going to be on board with that sort of Doxa-ish look. But yeah, for the money, this is one of the better St. Martins to have for a cheap price. So if you enjoyed this video, and I hope you did, then please give it a like. That's all I'm ever going to ask for, and it really, really does help. Comment below, tell me what you think of this watch, what you think it might be homaging or where it's getting its looks from. Do you like it? Do you like the 4 o'clock crown? Do you like, I don't know, the bezel, that bracelet? What don't you like? Give me all your comments below. I'll read every one. Try to reply to as many as I can. And you never know, St. Martin might also be reading too. And they do take note of comments from people's videos. I know that firsthand for a fact. Again, if you've enjoyed this video and it's your first time on my channel and you want to see more, then consider subscribing. It's for free and you're going to get notified when I post new videos. And the more subscribers I get, the more brands and different watches I will be able to bring to the channel, because the channel's still very small and it's a very crowded space now with a lot of people doing it and doing it very well. And I'm just this little hobbyist watchmaker having a go at trying to review watches from my own point of view. So every subscriber helps. Really appreciate it. See you in the comments, and also see you in the next video. Bye for now.